Good morning, Hojo staff, students, and families. Ya'ateo Ben, we're ready to start our day. So please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Our voices are off and bodies are still. Eyes are on the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Good morning, everyone. It is Friday. Happy Friday, December 4th. Is that right? December 4th, yes. And we're ready to start our day with some music. Mrs. Neff has given us a selection this week. Let's pull that up. And let's listen to our selection and see if you can remember who composed it and its name. Do you remember? Gustav Holst, the planets, and which planet is it? The largest one? Jupiter. That's right. Let's listen to something from our selections from last year. How about this one? Do you remember this piece? Camille Saint-Saëns, Carnival of the Animals. Which animal? The swan, right? Very peaceful, very different than the Jupiter song, right? The Jupiter song is very intense, adventurous, it's loud, and this is very soft because it's describing something different. And so if you were going to write a piece of music that described Jupiter or that described a swan, I wonder what it would sound like. Maybe one day you will compose some music. And our poet this week is Emily Dickinson, that's right, from Massachusetts. And her father was instrumental in bringing the railroad to her town. And when they had their opening day, their ribbon cutting day, he was giving speeches, but she was hiding in the woods watching because she didn't want to mingle with the people. Like we said before, she would have been great in a pandemic. But she obviously observed the train and watched it carefully and had opinions about it. And so we have her poem that we call I Like to See It Lap the Miles, even though it's not titled, remember? So listening for the personification, listening how she describes it, about it chasing itself downhill, almost like it's a horse in a way, and it's loud, but yet becomes docile. So let's listen to it again. Think of in your mind if you can see what she saw as a train. I like to see it lap the miles and lick the valleys up and stop to feed itself at tanks and then prodigious step around a pile of mountains, then supercilious peer in shanties by the sides of roads, and then a quarry pair to fit its sides and crawl between, complaining all the while in horrid hooting stanza, then chase itself downhill and neigh like Boanerges, then punctual as a star, stop, docile and omnipotent at its own stable door. Someday you might write a poem about something and take your observations like she does. She has lots of observations. All of these are things that she just observed around her town and her house because she didn't mingle with people. So the slightest, smallest thing can make somebody else think about something in a different way. And we have artists that do that too. Do you remember this piece? This is Norman Rockwell's Freedom from Want, right? Based on Franklin Delano Roosevelt's speech about the 4 freedoms. Remember? Freedom of worship, freedom from want, freedom of speech, worship, want, and freedom from fear. All right. Do you remember this piece? Now, the title of it should be easy enough to come up with. Basket of Fruit, right? Caravaggio's Basket of Fruit. And still in the Renaissance period, Raphael's School of Athens. And still in the Renaissance, Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. And remember, some of these things, like this is the Last Supper of Jesus before he was crucified. And the reason that we show these, and because it's a beautiful piece of art, and done by Leonardo da Vinci, and it has lasted and has been something that has been talked about for hundreds of years, and it's important to understand beautiful art. Now, it was commissioned by the church, and so that's why it has a depiction of Jesus in it, but it's still something that we should know. Even if you're not a Christian, it's still a beautiful piece of artwork that you should know. Okay, architecture. What do we have here? In the shape of an obelisk, Washington Monument. That's right. And how about this one? Jefferson Memorial. All right. And this one, U.S. Supreme Court. And it looks an awful lot like this one from 447 BC in Greece. The Parthenon, right. Still there. Still can walk around the Parthenon even though 447 BC. It lasted. And lasted when things last. Good, true, and beautiful things. That's what we want to know about. Also, something that has lasted longer than any other constitution in the world is the U.S. Constitution. And so we've memorized the preamble to the Constitution, and now we are on to memorizing the first 4 amendments to the Constitution, which are called the Bill of Rights. All right, so let's do the first 5. Do as much as you can, but if you haven't memorized it yet, listen to it carefully so that after a while, you'll be able to recognize it and say it on your own. First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Third Amendment. No soldier shall in time of war be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. Fourth Amendment. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched or the persons or things to be seized. Okay, Fifth Amendment. And this is one that we're still working on and still learning, and hopefully we can add the Sixth Amendment soon. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject to the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. It's amazing to think that our Constitution has lasted longer than any constitution in the world, that of all time, and that we're still working on it. And whose responsibility is it to make sure it continues to last? Yours? And mine? Yes, because our government is of the people. We sometimes get confused and think that people who are in government are our leaders and are in charge of us, when in fact we the people are in charge and they work for us. We are represented by them, not ruled by them. It's important to remember. Okay, birthdays. No birthdays today. Happy unbirthday, everyone. We do have one tomorrow on Saturday. Miles is having a birthday. Happy birthday, Miles. I hope you have a great weekend. And no birthdays on Sunday. So we'll be back on Monday, December 7th, a day that will live in infamy, Pearl Harbor Day. So we'll talk a little bit about that on Monday. If you haven't picked up a wreath yet, if you've purchased a wreath, or if you still want a wreath and didn't order one, let me know. So send me an email, families, if either of those things apply to you. We are also going to do not a fundraiser, but we want to help a local house, that group home, where some of a student here who lives at Hojo lives, and other students live, and we would like to adopt them and support them through the holidays. And I'll be sending out some information about that. Even in this time where lots of us are struggling and there's lots of things that are difficult, you know what really helps sometimes when things are difficult for you is to be kind and helpful to someone else. Making someone else's day easier and better will make you happy. So give it a try. Give it a try. And so we're going to try to adopt this group home and maybe do some nice things for them for the holidays. And if you would like to participate in that, I will send out an email and give you information on how to help. That's all we have for today. So let's do our student pledge. I will do the good. I will learn the true. And I will love the beautiful. And I hope you have a great day today and a great weekend.